This is the Fireside Briefing, Truth by the Firelight, with your hosts, the Keeper and the Watcher, where we bring forward the saga of Vigilante Justice.
Okay, so I want to try a little experiment with you before we really get going today.
Oh, boy. Should I be nervous?
No, it is completely safe, I promise. I just want you to close your eyes for a second. Unless you were driving, of course. Please keep your eyes open if you're driving.
Good disclaimer.
Right. But if you can't, I want you to conjure up the absolute driest, most soul-crushing mental image you can possibly find in your brain.
We are really setting the bar high for this deep dive, aren't we?
Extremely high. I mean, I am talking about something that makes your eyelids heavy just thinking about it. You're probably picturing tax returns or something.
Or the lie in the DMV.
Yes, exactly. Stacks of those beige government forms that smell like old toner.
It is definitely not the stuff of summer blockbusters. It's the administrative machinery of life. Necessary, but aggressively boring.
It is boredom by design.
Yeah.
But now I want you to take that mental image of government paperwork and I want you to warp it. Imagine those forms morphing into a massive supernatural tornado. And it is tearing through this haunted, misty southern landscape. You've got terrified pigs in police uniforms running for their lives.
That is quite the visual pivot.
Right. Witches flying alongside military helicopters and elephants just smashing out of old barns.
Definitely not tax returns anymore.
Not at all. And that is exactly where we are going today. We are doing a deep dive into a really unique multimedia project. It is a Southern Gothic series called FOIA Storm.
Also referred to in some of the source materials as the FOIA weather event.
Yes. And these 3 episodes are the first part of an entire series that is now live on the Vigilante Justice channel on YouTube, so definitely bring that up on your phone or TV later. But honestly, I'd never seen anything quite like this.
It really is a fascinating case study in communication. Because what we are looking at here is a project built from scratch with a very specific and, frankly, incredibly difficult mission.
Which is to take the boring out of government systems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The creator actually left a bunch of notes in our source stack that really outline their intent. They wrote, "This is a project I built from scratch to show and better gauge a wider audience on how truth works in government systems."
And it is so hard to get people to care about that stuff. Usually when you bring up transparency or bureaucracy, everyone just checks out completely.
Right, it's the broccoli of civic life. We know it is good for us, but nobody actually wants to eat it.
But the creator here is using this very specific genre to bridge that gap. They want to keep it Southern Gothic and focus it around the Mississippi Delta.
And by doing that, they are creating a comfort zone around the one thing nobody likes discussing, politics and how the government actually works.
They are using high drama and surreal art and dark comedy to essentially trick you into learning about civics.
Which is brilliant. And you can really tell how much heart went into this. There's actually a note in our source stack from the creator directly to the team working on this that says, "Thank you for being so awesome. Your work so far on my project has been amazing."
I saw that. It is so sweet. You don't usually see that behind the scenes of something dealing with government records.
It shows genuine passion. The creator's ultimate goal, as they put it, is, I am trying to take the boring out of government and let people see how the system operates and ultimately fails.
And the vibe they use to show that is immaculate. We are looking at these source images of misty cotton fields at dawn and dark storm clouds gathering over old barns. It is incredibly atmospheric.
So we are taking a trip down to the Delta.
Grab your boots because we are going to Corruptionville.
Corruptionville is a metaphorical place where secrets lay hidden and truth is uncovered.
We actually have a map of this place in our source stack, and it looks like one of those old fantasy novel maps. But instead of dragons, you have political decay.
What stands out to me on the map is the geography. It is situated right along the Yazoo River on the border of Mississippi and Louisiana.
Deep in the humid historical South.
This isn't just any town USA. It is specifically the Delta.
You can almost feel the humidity just looking at the artwork, and the landmarks are wild. Looking at this map, we've got U.S. Grant's Cave, we have Parchman Prison.
Which is a very real and very infamous place.
Exactly. And then right next to that, you have things like Voodoo Swamp and the House of the Rising Sun.
It's this perfect blend of history and folklore and metaphor. But look right at the center of the map. You have the town of Corruptionville itself.
The government building there is striking.
It is. It is this classic plantation-style architecture with the white columns and the big dome. Very stately. But it's sitting right in the middle of these vast empty fields.
It looks beautiful, but also kind of lonely. And a little sinister, maybe?
Like it's hiding something.
Yes.
That is the Southern Gothic trope working perfectly. It suggests an old entrenched system of power. It is isolated, surrounded by the misty cotton rows we see in the other images.
It gives you this feeling that the past here isn't dead.
It's not even past. You see the riverboat on the water and the old cannons. It is a place where secrets have been buried for a long, long time.
It feels like the kind of small town where everyone knows everyone's business, but nobody says a single word about it out loud.
A completely closed system. And clearly the creator wants us to feel like outsiders looking in on this closed system, just waiting for something to crack it wide open.
And speaking of cracking things open, we have to talk about who is running this place. Because the cast of characters in this series is unhinged in the best way.
We had to start with the pigs.
Oh my gosh, the pigs. They are everywhere in the artwork. We have this one vintage-style poster of a character named Officer Piggy Pig.
And he does not look like he is having a good time.
No, he is this sweaty, nervous boar in a police uniform. His eyes are wide, and he looks absolutely terrified.
The symbolism is not exactly subtle, but it is incredibly effective. The pig is a classic symbol of greed. Orwell used it in Animal Farm to represent corrupt leadership, of course.
Right.
But here, connected to Corruptionville, the pig represents the system itself. It represents a bloated, corrupt bureaucracy.
Or maybe specific officials who have gotten a little too comfortable at the trough.
Precisely. But notice the emotion in the art. Officer Piggy Pig isn't looking aggressive. He is panicking.
There is that one image of the pig in the uniform looking up at the sky, and there is a massive tornado forming right above him.
He knows exactly what is coming.
He does.
It frames the corrupt officials not as masterminds, but as cowards. They represent the system realizing that it is no longer in control. They are terrified of the light.
I really love that choice. It takes the power away from them. They aren't these untouchable, shadowy figures. They're just scared pigs in suits.
And there are images of them literally buried up to their necks in mountains of paper.
Which is foreshadowing the storm we are going to talk about in a second. But before we get to the weather, we have to address the other animals. Because it is not just pigs. We also have elephants.
Yes, the elephants stampeding out of the barns.
What is going on there? Are they running a circus in Corruptionville?
This connects directly to the transcript from the video. There was a line that says, when the doors finally broke, the elephants came out of the barn.
Okay, so literal elephants.
Think about the idiom, the elephant in the room.
Oh.
The elephant is the truth. It is the big, obvious thing that everyone in Corruptionville has been ignoring or actively hiding away in a barn. They locked the truth up to keep the status quo.
But elephants are massive. You can't keep an elephant in a barn forever.
Exactly. The metaphor is that once those doors break, the truth comes out. And an elephant is heavy and unstoppable. It is a force of nature. When the truth finally stampedes, it flattens everything in its path.
That is such a brilliant way to visualize a scandal breaking. It is not just a newspaper headline. It is a literal stampede.
And then just to make things even more surreal, we have the witch.
The witch. Yeah. Yes. There is this incredible poster titled The Storm Remembers, and it shows a classic wicked witch on a broomstick with a red cape flying behind her.
Zooming through the air.
Right, but she is flying right alongside modern military helicopters.
That juxtaposition is fascinating. The transcript mentions that they build machines to watch the land. The helicopters represent modern surveillance.
The state's power to watch its citizens.
Exactly. Technology and control. It's the government's eye in the sky.
And the witch. What does she represent?
The witch represents folklore and the old magic. The Mississippi Delta has a very rich history of superstition and haints. By putting a witch next to a helicopter, the creator is suggesting that this FOIA storm is a mix of modern technology and something ancient.
Something karmic almost.
Right. It creates a chaotic reality where the old rules of the government, the rules of the helicopters, and the surveillance state just don't apply anymore. The witch suggests there are forces at play that the government simply cannot control.
Which brings us to the main event. The title of the series is the FOIA Weather Event. We have been teasing this tornado, but we really need to describe what it actually looks like.
It is the central visual metaphor of the entire project. We have this image titled Needle in a Haystack, and it shows a massive towering tornado cutting across the farmland.
But when you look closer, it is not made of wind and dust.
It is taper. Hundreds of thousands of sheets of paper swirling into a vortex.
And for anyone listening who doesn't know, we should probably clarify what FOIA stands for, because it just sounds like a weird noise if you don't know the acronym.
Yes, FOIA stands for the Freedom of Information Act. It is the law in the U.S. that allows the public to request records from the government.
So usually that involves filling out a form and waiting 6 months to get an email that is heavily redacted. It is a very beige process.
Usually, yes, it's purely administrative. But in this series, the creator is reframing that bureaucratic process as a literal weather event. The storm is the sudden, massive release of public records.
So instead of a boring stack of papers on a desk, it is a tornado that tears the roof off the building.
Look at how the papers are overwhelming the landscape in the images. The pigs are literally buried in them. The needle in a haystack title suggests that somewhere in that swirling storm of documents, there's the one piece of evidence that proves the corruption.
It really changes how you feel about the word transparency. Usually transparency sounds like a nice, gentle corporate buzzword. Oh, we need more transparency. But this makes transparency look like a natural disaster.
And for the people running Corruptionville, it absolutely is. The transcript says the records always surface. It treats the truth not as administrative work, but as an act of nature.
You can't stop a tornado.
You can't stop the truth when the atmospheric pressure changes. The weather event is a metaphor for transparency tearing apart the comfort zone of the corrupt officials.
I want to pivot to the vigilante justice aspect of this, because that is the name of the YouTube channel hosting the series, Vigilante Justice, and it seems to be the philosophy driving this whole storm.
There is a very specific core philosophy here. We have an image with a text overlay that reads, "Settle in, turn down the lights, and remember when the living won't protect the innocent, the dead will."
Okay, that gives me chills. When the dead will. What does that mean in a government context? Are we talking about zombie politicians?
If we connect this to the bigger picture of public records, the dead refers to the past. It refers to the paper trail.
Oh, that is so smart.
Think about it. The people who wrote those emails or signed those contracts or even the victims of the corruption, they might be gone or they might be silenced, but the records remain.
The dead speak through the documents.
Exactly. If the current officials, the living, are corrupt and refuse to protect the innocent, then the historical record, the dead, will eventually speak up to achieve justice.
That is profound. It makes a filing cabinet sound like a graveyard that you really shouldn't mess with.
It reminds me of the idea that you can silence the messenger, but you can't kill the message if it is written down in triplicate.
And despite all these dark themes with the haunted swamps and the panicking pigs and the vengeance of the dead, the project notes emphasize that this is actually a hopeful message.
Yes, and that is a crucial point to understand. The lessons learned from the series are based off records and will be focused on strength, showing true feelings of community.
So it's not just about destroying Corruptionville.
Not at all. It is about what comes after the storm clears the air. We have a poster titled, "Out of the Darkness Comes the Light." It shows a figure who looks like a cowboy or a rancher standing in a cotton field watching the storm clear away.
The sun is breaking through the cloud.
The destruction isn't the point. The revelation is the point. When the storm blows away the lies, the community can finally see how the system operates and how it has failed them.
And then they can start to rebuild.
It is about taking the power back by simply knowing the truth together, showing the strength of the community.
And doing it with a little bit of Southern Gothic flair. I mean, the image of the guy with the red bandana mask standing in the field under the moonlight is very outlaw hero.
It frames the citizen researcher, the person actually filing these FOIA requests, as a vigilante. Not a violent one, but a seeker of truth. Someone armed with paperwork instead of a weapon.
Which, let's be honest, is probably way more effective against a corrupt town council anyway.
In a bureaucracy, absolutely. The FOIA request is mightier than the sword.
So we've got Corruptionville, we've got the paper tornado, we've got Officer Piggy Pig running for the hills. It is a lot to take in visually and thematically.
But what is so brilliant about this is that the creators are taking something objectively important, how our government functions, and they're simply refusing to be boring about it.
They are using drama and comedy to force a conversation. They are making you look at the elephant in the room by literally painting a giant elephant smashing out of a barn.
It creates a totally new visual language for civics. We don't get pie charts, we get tornadoes. And here is where it gets really interesting, actually. I have a secret from the source notes that the viewers of this series don't even know yet.
Oh, lay it on me. I love a good secret.
So we have been talking about this tornado as a destructive force, right? Tearing up Corruptionville.
Right. It's a disaster for the pigs.
Well, according to the creator's notes, ultimately the tornado will become a portal back to America.
A portal. Wow.
The viewers don't know this much yet, but the implication is huge. It means Corruptionville isn't the real America. It is a distortion. It's a sickness.
And by going through this storm of truth, the country can actually return to its foundational values.
It turns the whole Southern Gothic horror story into a journey of redemption. The corruption is the illness, and the FOIA storm is the fever breaking.
But to get there, you have to go through the storm first. You can't just go around it.
You have to face the mess, and you have to be willing to look at the records.
That is the real challenge for the audience here. The series is super entertaining, the pigs are funny, the witches are cool, the art is gorgeous. But underneath all of that, it is asking you to engage with the reality of how your government functions.
It serves as a reminder that the corrupt system relies on our boredom. It relies on us not looking at the paperwork. This entire series is an invitation to look.
Absolutely. So for everyone listening right now, if you want to see Officer Piggy Pig in all his sweaty glory, or if you want to watch the Paper Tornado Touchdown, the first 3 episodes of FOIA Storm are live right now.
Go check out the Vigilante Justice YouTube channel. It is definitely worth a watch for the visuals alone.
And the lessons on transparency are just invaluable. So here's a thought I want to leave you with today. We all have our own little versions of Corruptionville in our lives.
We really do.
Whether it's at work or in your local town council, or maybe just structural things you have been avoiding looking at too closely. So what elephants are waiting in the barns of your local government?
And are you brave enough to let the storm set them free?
Just remember, the records always surface.
They always do.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We will catch you in the next storm.